the women's group has really helped me. I obviously only haven't been coming for a few months. I have really benefited from the group more than I thought I would. And it's made me act kind of differently within the month and the weeks in between as well. And perhaps, making sure I do reach out to other women and other people for support and chats and interactions rather than being this island as well. So it's really good for that too. I'm a massive believer in kind of like peer support and supporting other women and other businesses, and yeah, it does that definitely. So it's great. I think it's been a massive change for me over the year, but particularly over the last quarter, I seem to have gone through quite a big transition. I was very reliant on one particular client over the summer, and when that came to a natural finish or point at the end of a project, I realised that the security of my business was entirely based on their business, and I felt really uncomfortable with that and how much it sort of sucked me in. So I hadn't had any chance to sit up and look around because I was working so hard for this person. And I think I kind of got the epiphany that maybe I wanted a little bit more of that for myself. So from that point, and from coming to the group, to be honest, because what that allowed me to do was actually like hear what I was saying when it was said back to me and go, okay, so take some time, spend some time on yourself, and then think about what you want to do going forward. And the answer for me was to professionalize what I do. So to kind of look at rebranding, making the business more official, I suppose, but also diversifying my clientele, not relying on one particular business. So that's where I've gone since around August, September time. I've been successful in getting another client in the UK, which is quite a substantial amount of work. And it's just made me feel a lot more confident about gaining new clients and in the decisions that I make. And I think that's where I'm going with it going forward as well. So I've gone from being a little bit of unsure about how to get new clients and diversify and relying on one system to really feeling a lot more confident ending the year with, yeah, I have got this, I can do this, I can try new things, and the approach that I use with new clients works. And that's a really nice kind of safe feeling rather than perhaps at the beginning of the year, that kind of chasing your tail and going for a bit of everything. I think that's definitely something that has changed massively for me. To be honest, some of the things I did at first was actually to take some time out. The advice from the group was to spend some time on myself, and I hadn't had a lot of time or anything. So I was like going out specifically in the morning just for a walk. I'm still doing that now. I go for a swim just to kind of clear my mind and work on just having some time to think about something without actually doing anything at that time that's related to work. And that really works for me. And talking it through with other people really works for me as well. I find that if I'm on my own, I don't really bounce ideas around in the same way or can't form a plan. But if I say it out loud, then that really works for me. But I think that probably the most important thing since September is I've actually been scheduling time for where I do what I call the hustle, which is looking for other business or working on, building awareness of my business for other clients, scheduling specific time for that. Otherwise, I get sucked into the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, and then my stuff goes to the bottom of the list. And that wasn't the idea. The idea is to prioritize my own business and diversify it. So I definitely put in a calendar time to make contacts, make connections with people, follow up on leads and things like that, but also time to learn new skills as well, because I think I had a bit of a barrier about some of the social media skills that I'm starting to need for sure. I think a lot of people can relate to that, but just doing it in manageable size things. Like I've been doing a masterclass on Instagram, and I've been using Instagram for years, but not for a business. So I've been doing a masterclass on that and just making sure that at Tuesday at, 4:00, you've got it in and you do it like you would any other meeting or task, that is there as equally important as everything else, because otherwise it will slip to the bottom of the to-do list and it won't get done. So I think making time for the scheduling of those things has been really important for me. I mean, looking back at September, I saw something quite funny this morning, because in my entry, I was journaling as well at this time. It said, my biggest problems today are chronic stress. I need to sleep more, talk more, go into nature more, use my phone less, take a probiotic, hydrate, have more social interactions, think about my partner, get my screen time down, eat well, go for walks, and organise my house and apply for other work. This is like when I looked at this morning, I was so overwhelmed with how things were only months ago. And now I kind of keep a realistic to-do list, a realistic schedule, and really try and stick to it, say 90% of the time. You allow some flexibility, and I think that's the change of not just running all over the place, trying to achieve the unachievable perfection, and just actually give myself a bit of a break. About the change in just a few months from chaos, I'd call it, and just that struggle for achieving the perfect when you just can't get everything right. It's you just give yourself a break and work on a few things at a time. I think if someone else is in a place where they perhaps don't feel they're making as much progress and it's a bit chaotic, I am a list maker, so I do find it quite useful to kind of figure out all the things that have got going on, but then to prioritize what's really important to you. So I did this process with 2025 already, and I've really just put it down to 3 objectives in terms of the clients that I want to get, the money I want to earn, and another objective. So I'm really a fan of putting things down on paper or in a system and then prioritizing. And if it doesn't fit with one of those objectives, whether it's a professional or a personal one, might be health related, for example, then you kind of question why you're doing it. So if it doesn't fit in with my personal and professional objectives for next year, then I'm going to learn to be saying no to things and saying more of the yes to things that are going to help my business and help me as a person. So I'm a big fan of getting things down, kind of sorting them out, whatever system you use. I'm a list maker and I do journals, and I, as I said, very much recommend talking it through with a single person or a group. I just think it kind of organises it in your way of thinking when you say it out loud. So that for me is how I've organised my thoughts, and really feel that the shift that I've made in a matter of months from what am I doing? Do I believe in myself doing this? To absolutely yes, I do. And I think I said at one of the meetings before is when you know you're going to do something and you're really going to give it 100%, you tell people about it. When you're not sure and you maybe worry about failure and those things, you don't tell people about it, whether it's, having dry January or whether it's, building your business. When you're really going to do it, you tell people. And that's for me over the Christmas period. I'm not going to be talking shop too much, but everyone I see, my friends and family and community, is I'm going to tell them because I need to build that as well from the business. I need their help to get it out there, as well as all the kind of social media and our women's group and things like that. And I think, be proud of it instead of being afraid of failing at any point. Is you've got to give it the full try, 100%. I think I was perhaps a little bit skeptical about the process at first. I'm a little bit of a shy away from anything that feels like therapy to me, and that's just it's a personal barrier. I'm keen to admit it, but actually it's really helped me because I thought when I say things and I hear them back from the group, it's almost like the answers were there. I just couldn't see them. And I think I had that with something recently about one of my services, and someone said, well, it sounds like that's the route that you're going down. I thought, yeah, I am. I just didn't know because someone didn't say it to me. So I think it's just a space for that, is to hear your thoughts. And when you hear them reflected back to you, there's a way that you absorb it that's different to kind of thinking on your own. So it's been really useful for that. And obviously the connections that I've made as well in terms of help with my website, help with my, getting a photographer, people that have approached me around their own brands and editorial services that I might be able to offer them. So although the primary purpose is not necessarily selling our businesses, indirectly that has happened. So that's a bonus to the space that we spend talking to each other, really. Yeah, so good for me.